Oh, look, here at Penelope Winterbottom Coaching, we are absolutely overjoyed that this work will now be available at last in audiobook form. Gertrude Stein has been the poster girl for gay rights and feminist writing since day dot, so it is about time that this work got to audiobook. En France, she is like a national treasure. Peut-être she is the Arc de Triomphe de littérature féministe. Julia was then the beginning of Denning completely American living. This is a description of her being, and of her living, of her loving, and of her marrying, and of all of her living. Julia, then, was an American. I've been teaching her at Oxford for about 30 years now, and I think that there's a lot there. She was forging ahead in an area that was so male-dominated. I just have such respect for her. We here at Penelope Winterbottom Coaching, those are the sort of ideals we aspire to. We want to forge ahead in that way, and that's why I have such respect for her work, for the sort of person she was, for her sensible shoes and everything. This is to be now a description of being in her and of living in her. Each one is inside them, being that one. Mostly everyone has some way of feeling living in them. Each one has ways. I just love what she has done for women. I love what she has done for feminism. I love the era in which she was writing. When you think of when she was writing, how experimental. And you just imagine those salons in Paris with Matisse and Hemingway and... I mean, it really must have been a glorious time to be there and be a fly on the wall. And maybe this is as close as we can get, so it's an important piece of literature, I think. All these salons of Paris around this era was so full of life and so full of art and artistic endeavor. It would be a wonderful time to be alive, I think. Very many like it that they are doing something. Living, working, loving, dressing, dreaming, waking, cleaning something, being a kind of a one. That rhythm, that repetition really builds a beautiful picture for you and really says something about the human condition, I think. The repetition, I think it's... life is cycles, and she knows that. Looking like someone going to be doing something, being a nice one, being a not nice one, helping something, helping someone, winning, conquering, losing, forgetting, being an influence in being a living one, being a dead one. Okay, so I know Gertie can be a little bit of an acquired taste, but it's worth it, the poetry of it. She's not the easiest to read, but I think there is use in it, yes. It's, if nothing else, it's certainly an important name to drop at a dinner party. The way she writes, it just kind of rolls over you, it's repetitive, it's not too highbrow, you don't have to think too much about it, just let it happen. But she's painting a very vivid picture if you just give it a little bit of a chance. Living, being a worried one, cleaning themselves all their living, learning something, being something, forgetting something, ending something, liking old things, leaving something, liking everything, liking pretty nearly nothing, being disgusted with everything, liking new things, leaving pretty nearly nothing, liking changing, liking being a quite one. Well, it's the juxtaposition, really, isn't it? It's lines intersecting, it's past, present, future, the doing and the being, and the being caught up in the moment is really a metaphor for the existential crisis, I feel. She doesn't use all these big highfalutin words, she uses little words, she uses a lot of them, and she repeats things so you can really understand what she's talking about. She writes about things that happen in my life too. She writes living and being living and having been and going to be again, and those are things that have happened to me in my life, and so I find it's very relevant to me. I know very well there are very many other ones. I know very well I am not knowing all the ways men and women are feeling living. I know very well I am not knowing all the ways anyone can have living, have meaning. I know very well I do not know all these things. I know very well I could be very happy knowing everything. I know I am quite a happy one, knowing something. Well, I'm looking forward to the different people doing different parts of it as well. I mean, I think that's a cracker of an idea. I don't agree with people who say that she doesn't deserve her place in literature. You can also use Gertrude to get to sleep because you just let it roll over you, and that rhythm and that repetition just kind of comes at you and lulls you, and pretty soon you're snoozing away, so it's good for that as well. It's such an illuminating work if you can get through all those words. I am knowing something of kinds of being in men and women. I could know sometime, if I could know completely all I could be knowing, all the kinds there are of men and women. I am comforting now my feeling by saying this thing, in my complete feeling again and again. I am beginning now a history of living, of feeling living, of living having meaning in Julia Denning and Alfred Hersland. Well, I think it's going to be good value, that's for sure. I mean, 56 hours for one audiobook. How can you go wrong? It was so amazing to see such a courageous, groundbreaking woman do so well in such a male-dominated industry. And I mean, this was back in the 1960s. It was just wonderful. Well, Gloria Steinem. Isn't that who we're... Oh, Gertrude Stein. The whole... Oh. Can we start again?